All right, as I mentioned, President Biden, Senator Joe Manchin, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer met in the president's Delaware home yesterday to find an agreement on the Democrats' social spending spree that previously had a price tag of $3.5 trillion. But it is now looking like it's going to be below $2 trillion. Join me now to talk about the latest on the president's Build Government Bigger plan is Washington Times reporter Harris Alic, who covers Congress and energy issues. Harris, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thanks so much for having me on, Tony. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm very excited to talk to you about this plan because it's actually one of the biggest that's probably ever going to be passed in Congress if they do end up getting it through. Looks like right now it's going to be $2.2 trillion. That's significantly lower than $3.5 trillion, but I think most Americans would agree with you and I that $2.2 trillion of taxpayer money is still a significant amount. Right now, it looks like this bill is going to include a brand new billionaire's tax that would impose taxes on untaxed gains like real estate, art, property investments, things that you would necessarily tax potentially after being sold. That's going to be taxed now. Also included in this plan is going to be about 4 weeks of paid family leave, the child care tax credit, which gives $3,600 to families per year, is going to be extended for another year. And also there will be new child care subsidies. As of right now, obviously, President Biden keeps saying, well, this deal is all paid for. There are no exact issues here. But one of the big reasons why it's taken them almost 9 months to be able to hammer out some sort of compromise here is because Senator Kristen Sinema, a moderate Democrat from Arizona, is not in favor of raising corporate income and the tax rate on top earners. So this argument that the Biden administration is making, this plan is 100% paid for, that's totally ludicrous simply because the fact that it's taking them 9 months to figure out exactly how they're going to pay for it. It's going to cost about $2.2 trillion. It's significantly a massive amount of money. It looks like now the Trump era tax cuts are going to remain intact, but there's going to be a new billionaire's tax. There's also going to be new enforcement proceedings allowing the IRS access to any bank account that has more than $10,000 in transactions annually. So this is going to cause audits to massively jump up. So this is one of the things that's really going to be huge in the next few weeks. And it looks like Democrats are finally becoming realistic and understanding that they weren't going to get 3.5 trillion. Maybe they're going to get 2.2 trillion, but there's still a long way to go on this.
Well, as you mentioned, Nancy Pelosi was mentioned this is the largest ever. Nancy Pelosi was crowing about that over the weekend, that even if it's half of the 3.5, it's still the largest initiative that Congress has ever passed like this. So it is huge. I want to go to the point, there were those holding out on the tax plan, the tax cuts that were put in place during President Trump. You say those stay in place. Will that help offset some of the economic impact of this tax?
I don't think so, because as we've seen, inflation is already skyrocketing. If you were making about $45,000 a year in January, you're making significantly less now, even though your paycheck supposedly is staying the same. I think most Americans are realizing that when it comes time to meeting their bills, when it comes time to paying for gas at the pump, that their dollar is getting significantly less and less value. And I think that's one of the things that has to be taken into account here. Is this a $2.2 trillion plan? They're going to raise taxes. They're going to institute new regulations that are going to make energy costs significantly higher. They're also going to institute a lot of new government programs that will have to be paid for. So even though there are some offsets, even though Washington Democrats are arguing in favor of potentially keeping taxes low on people making under $400,000, the policies they're pushing with this administration have already caused taxes on people making well over that amount to grow. And there's that old Reagan line that taxes aren't necessarily just judged based on rates; they're also judged on policies that make your wallets shrink. And this administration is shrinking a lot of wallets right now, Tony.
So, Harris, final question for you: do they get to an agreement on that? On the whole package this week, because also in tandem is the infrastructure, the $1.2 trillion. Does all of that get voted on this week?
Well, that's the plan right now. I'm not 100% sure if that's actually going to be able to last. As we know, on October 31st, there's a deadline that will come to pass for highway transportation funding, and congressional Democrats are really pushing in favor of this infrastructure bill to be done then. but progressives like Senator Bernie Sanders are holding it up because they want this $2.2 trillion massive partisan spending bill to go through. I've covered this bill from its beginning at the beginning of this year, and I can tell you that I've heard so many deadlines come and go. Back in August, Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer was saying, well, we want to have something done by the end of August. They wanted to have something done by the end of September. Now it's the end of October. I don't think they're going to get this done in time. If they do, it'll be a miracle, and it'll be because a lot of progressives end up caving on some of the things they fought for. But I think this package still faces very, very long odds. It's not to say, nothing is possible, because miracles do always happen, but it does certainly face long odds.
All right. Harris, thanks so much for joining us. Great to talk with you.
Always a pleasure, Tony. Thank you.